Okay, we're good.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the October 16th, 2023 meeting of the Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 4 meeting of commissioners. So we'll start with call the meeting to order and we'll do roll call. My name's Steve Cooley. I'm one of the commissioners.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right, excellent. Okay, moving to the public comment period. Chief, do we have anybody waiting in the wings to talk to us?
No, sir.
Not this time. Okay, so the public comment period is open and then closed with no participation. And we will move on to the approval of the consent agenda. I'll go through the normal spiel here on what we've got. And there's a couple things in the consent agenda, or at least in the board packet, that I just want to make sure we are all on the same page on. So anyway, approval of the consent agenda is next. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion, except for a couple of questions I have here before we approve it. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. So in summary, what we have, and to be fair, I guess the questions I have aren't really related to the stuff on the consent agenda, but it includes the meeting minutes for our meeting on September 18th, staff reports as usual, financial reports, voucher, payroll, and benefits, which include a notation that the direct deposit payroll was $640 and the monthly expenditure voucher was $17,316.13. Our expense fund revenue in September was $25,989.66, and our total expenditures for October, $17,926.13. Okay, any desire to remove any of that for separate discussion? Okay, don't see anything, so we'll move on. Let me just, if you'll bear with me for a moment, I just have a couple questions on a couple of the things in the packet. To be sure, again, we're all on the same page. I'm almost there. Okay, so the request for action on this BLS allocation correction amendment is already on the agenda, so I won't ask about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, Chief, could you just make sure we're all clear? I'm seeing a letter from the auditor that we're going to be audited here. Can you, maybe I'm missing something, but you were just audited, yes, and now we're going to be audited again. Can you explain the difference in who's doing what?
Yeah, we are actually, we've already been audited.
Right, that's what I thought.
We were audited last year, and then we're getting audited again this year because Benita is retiring in February.
Okay.
And we made that known to the state auditor's office, and they wanted to do. They're just going to do this basically as you have one long-term financial person going out, and then when we have the new person coming in, they're going to audit that as well. And it's just a safeguard to make sure that we're using best practices. Commissioner Land actually had an interview with the state auditor's office. I assume that's because they have the information that he is the chair of the board.
Gotcha.
But since you all see the same things in the packets, it really was interchangeable, but it was it was just a cash audit to make sure that the way we use cash is correct.
Okay, great. So basically because of a change of the business manager is what you're
Correct.
saying. Okay, great. And we'll get a separate report from that at some point.
Yes, when it is 100% concluded, we have an option to have, we can either do it by telephone. They'll have what they call an exit interview, where they'll have, we can have a board meeting, a special meeting, and the auditor can go point by point through what they found and recommendations that they make or anything like that. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions, other gentlemen on that? Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, it appeared that the scope of the audit was primarily 2022, correct? Just the fiscal year 2022.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had just been audited. It's a very
Right.
narrow scope, and that's why the letter telling you you're being audited arrived at the time that basically it's over. It was so fast. So
Yeah.
and hopefully it doesn't cost very much. So
Right.
Yeah, and just for my part, it could be any board member really, but I think Jason probably had it when he said that they probably have my name and my contact, because I also do this on the other board that I serve on. So I've done probably a dozen of these, and typically they just approach a board member and they have a series of basically risk assessment kind of questions, kind of at a high level. And so, yeah, I just participated, thinking, or just kind of knowing already what it was going to be about. If somebody else wants to do those in the future, we just probably need to provide them a new name and contact number.
I'm very happy for you to do those since you've done so many, but if you need relief of that duty in the future, please let us know. And I'm sure either Tim or I could step in.
Okay. I mean, right now they're pretty straightforward.
Right.
So I don't, unless one of you has a strong desire to, participate in that part of the process, be happy to give it up, but it's not a big deal.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mark, for doing that.
Indeed. Thank you very much for taking care of that. Awesome. Okay. No other questions about that before I move on? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I just want to note that, invoices, like most invoices that I get anyway, I have no idea what I'm supposed to pay. But this invoice from the auditor's office, am I clear that that election that we just had cost us $13,076.13? Is that what I'm reading?
yes, sir. That was District 4's portion of the election.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I understood that and to note that during our meeting. So, because again, it's not an invoice just for us. It looks like an invoice for all the fire districts,
Yes. Well, yeah, it's
or most of
all
them.
the entities, it's all the governments listed on that invoice.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. Thank you. And then that's it. The rest of it was just supporting paperwork for that. Okay. Thank you for humoring me while we went through that. Okay. Any desire to pull anything else out of the consent agenda before we move forward?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion, I'm assuming, since I just asked that question. So all in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, so the consent agenda is approved. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Contract for services extension is the first item on the list. We were going to meet, I was going to meet, I think the next step for that was I was going to meet with Bruce Ansel and the chief, which we did before, to discuss putting that all together. We haven't had a chance to do that because Bruce has been out of the country. Chief, what am I missing here? Is there more to say?
Nope. I reviewed it this morning. And yeah, I just need the three of us to get in the same room. Everybody give it the thumbs up. We'll send it to the attorneys and it's literally a page and a half. So
Yeah, basically says, see the agreement we had before, right?
correct.
With the appropriate changes.
Yep.
Okay. So for Tim and Mark, that's still coming. Again, slowed a little bit by several things, actually. Again, Bruce has been out of the country, and I know the chief, and this applies to kind of the rest of everything we're going to talk about. The chief's had an extremely busy month, as have I, actually. So things are moving, but slowly at this point.
And we're going to, it's going to be status quo to the end of 2024. Is that the date range?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, anything else on that, chief, or anybody else? Okay, moving on to the Northern Heights annexation. I'll let the chief chime in here in a second, but just to summarize that, again, the city has received no request to annex yet. So I know that I'm sorry, why don't you talk, chief? You probably have the better information here, and then I'll chime in.
I actually spoke with the city planning department after I talked with you this morning, Commissioner Cooley.
Okay, well, that's
And,
hot off the press.
they actually have received the,
Oh,
it's not been finalized though. It's a preliminary application. I will pretend to understand their process. They get a preliminary application, then the application has to be approved, and then it's actually submitted.
okay.
So
So it's been
it's in that window. It was apparently submitted last Tuesday. And the gentleman from Bellingham Planning and I have been playing phone tag. So we finally linked up after I got off phone with you this morning. So yeah, it's been submitted. He said the next piece of action will be, let me pull up my notes here. So it will go before an internal, basically department heads at the city of Bellingham. Here, once it's approved, it'll go before a committee of the department heads in the city of Bellingham, and then be forwarded on to Bellingham City Council, which he would expect would happen in very late December, if not early 2024, for council's consideration, questions, and all those things. So it's in progress.
okay. So the next steps on that for us is kind of like the agreement with District 21 for next year. We need to meet with Bruce Ansel. And the plan was for us to jointly develop a letter to send to the city, basically expressing our concerns with the impacts on District 4 of that annexation, right?
Yep.
Okay, so gentlemen, again, we're waiting for Bruce to get back from his month-long trip. And we will draft a letter again, which you will likely see before it goes out, expressing those concerns. I'll piggyback on that by saying that we also had a meeting Thursday with Liz Loomis and her group online that I attended. We discussed the fact that that group is going to continue providing us advice and support on what we need to be doing to manage the process and communicate with our constituents about the annexation effort and what feedback we need to provide and the assurances we would like to see moving forward with that if it goes through. So again, just kind of putting a placeholder for that right now, because I think the next step is for us to, again, preliminary letter to the city expressing our concerns and requests to basically negotiate about it. Does that sum it up, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Mark, go ahead, please.
So Jason, is it public information or disclosable, the name that's on the annexation application or the entity's name? Is that something that is disclosed, or is that not disclosed?
It was filed by Bill Geyer and Associates. That was told to me on the phone call with the Bellingham planning personnel. But I don't know. I would assume that I have not seen the application, so I don't know if it has the names of the property owners that are working towards this or not. But I do know that, yes, the firm that filed it on behalf of these property owners is Bill Geyer and Associates.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and we will make sure to get whatever we're able to obtain during this process as far as their application. And I would imagine I'll be amazed if we don't have access to all of that once we communicate.
It's all public record.
Yeah, once we communicate our interest. So yeah, we'll make sure we get that information. Anything else on that issue, the Northern Heights annexation?
Just a question. In our previous discussion about this, we were thinking the window of time would be maybe 24 to 36 months. This sounds like it might be moving quicker than that. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Apparently.
If there's no hitches in the process, they're currently expecting it to switch in April of 2025 from city to county or county to city. Is when they expect that would be, which is a lot faster than had been kind of previously.
Right.
That's kind of what I had understood before. That's what Mr. Geyer had talked about at that public meeting that he had at Station 12. But that timetable seems to have switched. Although that is, once again, that is if there's no problems in the process anywhere along, if no city councilor has any questions about, we'll take Tweed 20, why isn't Tweed 20 included in this? And have we studied this? Any kind of thing like that could slow it down, as well as things that come before the Boundary Review Board, whether it's fire or police or public works, any of the entities that are involved in the Boundary Review Board review, those items could slow it down as well. So at fastest, it would be April of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank
again,
you.
we're going to, as soon as we are able, get our concerns in front of the city so that they know what issues we're going to want them to address before they move forward. So. Okay, anything else on that issue? Okay, hearing none, so that closes our unfinished business. That moves to new business. First item on that agenda is first responder contract BLS allocation correction amendment. Saw that, I believe, in the packet. Chief, do you want to briefly explain that?
Yes, and I will start off by saying this has been confusing to the fire chiefs as well, but it's the county process. What you see before you in that amendment is basically there were some errors made in the EMS levy calculations. It affected a couple districts, not District 4 at all. But because they have to amend the agreement, they need every, signator to the agreement to sign the amendment. So, for instance, District 21, there was a miscalculation. District 21 had to reimburse the county for some money. We signed that agreement, but they need every other district to basically, so that all the dates and signatures align on that amendment. As it was an agreement between multiple parties, you got to make an amendment to it. All the multiple parties have to sign it.
Okay, so I'm looking at the first page of the memo from Mike
Hilly.
And it just lists the 3 jurisdictions apparently that are affected, right?
Yes.
North Whatcom, Fire District 14, and the city of Linden, it looks like. So
Correct.
No effect on District 4, just we need to sign again. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen, about any of that? Okay.
None.
The Fire Chiefs Association has worked really hard to not because it was hiding anything, but just because it was seemed like a waste of time and a waste of paper and resources to go through and do this for the multiple districts that are in the county. But
The lawyers say we have to.
county lawyers won't budge.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right, so I see the amendment on right after the letter from Mike Hilly. Is that what we need to read into the record and then approve? Or what's our action here, Chief?
Yes, I believe, you need to read all 3 of the paragraphs that state this amendment.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And then,
okay. And then decide to vote on it. Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and read through that so that those that are simply listening can hear if there are anybody. So amendment number 3, the Whatcom County contract has a number from 2018. Contract between Whatcom County and Whatcom County Fire Agencies. This amendment is to the contract between Whatcom County and the Whatcom County Fire Agencies dated the 31st of January 2018 and designated as Whatcom County contract number 201-801-022. In consideration of the mutual benefits to be derived, the parties agree to the following. This amendment corrects the Exhibit B allotment amounts tabled in Amendment number 1 and removes Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 5 as a signatory to the original contract. A separate contract will be negotiated with Fire District 5 due to its unique location in Point Roberts. This amendment corrects Scrivener's errors in the, that's a word I haven't said in a long time, is a Scrivener error in the allocation table in Exhibit B in Amendment Number 1. The amount of the contract amendment is now corrected to total $5,901,184.02. Unless specifically amended by this agreement, all other terms and conditions of the contract, the original contract, shall remain in full force and effect. This amendment takes effect last year on the 28th of 22, or on December 28th of 2022, regardless of the date of signature. So yeah, I'd have to ask an attorney what that means. It took effect even though we haven't signed it, and now we're going to sign it a year later. So, okay, works for me. Each person signing this contract represents and warrants that he or she is duly authorized and has legal capacity to execute and deliver this contract. Executed this, I guess it would be the 16th day of October, 2023. All right, so we have that before us. I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve that, or to approve that we sign it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion that we approve and sign this agreement, this amendment.
I'd move that we would approve and sign the amendment that was just read into the record.
Do I have I'll second
I will
it.
second.
Or yeah, one of us can second. You guys don't always, yeah. All right, so we have, we'll let Tim be the official second since he spoke up. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion about this issue? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of signing this amendment and sending it on, please say aye. Aye. Hey, motion carries 3-0. That will be in our packet. Yes, Chief, for us to sign.
Yep, it's in your packet.
Great. All right. Good deal. That finishes that agenda item, and then I'll go back. Okay. Any other questions about that issue before we move on? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to the joint 2024 budget study session. And Chief, you want to give us the quick, this is just, go ahead.
Would like to propose a joint budget study session so we can look at so that each board can look at the budget of the other board. I'd like to propose that on Saturday, November 18th, if you could look at your calendars. I won't have an answer, obviously, from the District 21 commissioners until after Thursday. So if you need a day or two to check calendars at home, that's fine. But it would probably be a 3-4 hour meeting Saturday morning at Station 61 in Blaine, where we could actually all meet in person, discuss budget and other financial things that are affecting the districts as well in a joint session. So,
And because we'll probably have a quorum with both, we're going to have to make that a public meeting, right? Is that?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The date for me right now is potentially problematic, but let me work on that and I'll get back to you. I'm going to be in Montana for most of November. Well, not just Montana, but I want to make that. So let me see what I can do and we'll chat. So I'm a tentative right now for that. If there's any flexibility in the date, I might ask that we move it, but
Well, I'm sure there'll be flexibility. That's just the first one I'm throwing out. So
okay. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I'll send you some dates that would work for me better than that one.
Okay.
Tim, Mark, is that too far out for you to let us know whether you think you'd be able to go, or you want to do the same and let the chief know what might work for you?
Yeah, I potentially will have some conflict with that. I need to be down in Seattle that afternoon. So if we could do an early start to the meeting, I could attend for at least several hours, but I would need to probably leave by 11 in the morning.
Okay.
I too could provide some other dates if that
Yes.
sounds better. Okay.
if you could provide some alternate dates, that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Great.
For me, it's currently open. I was just going to ask, for what kind of a time block you were looking at. Probably earlier in the day would be better for me, just like Tim.
It'll be a hard stop at noon.
So a morning meeting, basically.
It'll be a morning meeting with,
Okay.
I'd propose a hard stop at noon. If we, get done before then, that's great, but we're not gonna, no, I'm married too. I get it.
Okay, so tentative, yes for Mark, and at least Tim and I will get, use some other dates, chief, that might work as well as you talk to the board members of District 22 or 21, excuse me.
Great.
All right, anything else on that?
No, sir.
On that, okay, moving on, that moves us to, let me check something real fast here. It moves us to correspondence, which I didn't really see except for the letters we already talked about from the auditor and from the, oh, great, I just closed my agenda, excuse me a second. So yeah, no other correspondence we need to talk about, right?
Just, yeah, the auditor and then the election billing were really the two
Okay,
pieces.
all right, great. All right, okay, agenda's back open, sorry about that. All right, so no correspondence. So the next board meeting will be on is scheduled for the 13th. I will definitely be in Montana then, but I can certainly do that remote. I have, that will not be a problem for me.
Okay.
So I will be there for that. Is that still looking good for you guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
No, it's for both. Okay. And then agenda items for the next meeting. Chief, you want to briefly tell us what's?
Yeah, just the annual, basically setting the levy rate for next year. And if you want to take into consideration the one in District 4's case, actually 1 to 3% increase. We've gotten preliminary assessed valuation numbers from the county. We should have better numbers by that meeting, more solid numbers. But that is an annual public hearing we have every year.
Okay. Yeah, and just to note, that meeting will be, looks like a week or so before we meet jointly with District 21, which will get
Correct.
even more financial information. So,
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, anything else for the good of our order? All right, good to see you guys. We'll now adjourn the meeting, and please don't forget to go down and sign the paperwork when you have a chance.
Yeah.